Welcome to the Raisina Dialogue Ideas Pod on Firstpost. I am Gursshheen Gahllen, and today we navigate the shifting tides of Taiwan and the Indo-Pacific, where alliances are evolving, threats are emerging, and great power rivalries are reshaping the regional dynamics. As a tech powerhouse, Taiwan must navigate a fine line between economic ambition and existential threats. The question is, will it stand firm or be drawn deeper into a high-stakes geopolitical chess game? To give us more insight on that, joining me are two distinguished voices in global security: Hiroyuki Akita, Foreign and International Security Commentator at Nikkei Asia, Japan, and I-Chung Lai, President of the Prospect Foundation. Gentlemen, welcome to Ideas Pod. Mr. Akita, let's begin with you. China has never governed Taiwan, but it insists, and time and again it has threatened, that it will take over the island nation even by force, if need be. So with Beijing vowing to tighten the noose, how do you think Taiwan can avoid getting drawn into a geopolitical conflict?
Okay. First of all, I have to say that the security environment of Taiwan is getting worse because of the two reasons.
Right.
One is shifting military balance of power to China.
Right.
And this is nothing new. And then second reason is changing Washington perception about Taiwan. So in past administration believed that they want to defend Taiwan, to defend the democracy, and also maintain the stability in the region. But President Trump's view on Taiwan could be different. He complained that Taiwan stolen U.S. semiconductor, because Taiwan has a huge market share of highly advanced semiconductor, and also he said Taiwan should pay for the defense assistance.
Yes.
So in this circumstance, it is very important for Taiwan and like-minded country to do their homeworks. So Taiwan, I'm sure that Taiwan is aware of that, and Taiwan will need to drastically increase the defense capability by its own. And a like-minded country like Japan, who never want to see the war in Taiwan Strait, should further enhance its multilateral or unilateral defense cooperation to complicate China's calculation.
Right.
Yeah, China have a capability, but China can never launch a full-scale invasion unless they have higher than 100% confidence. Russia invaded Ukraine with less than 100% confidence, but China needs 100 or 120% confidence. So by complicating their strategic calculation, maybe we can deter.
Speaking of security, Mr. Akita, there have been since 2023, there have been at least 11 undersea cable damage in Taiwan.
From my perspective, cutting sea cable would be the beginning of the full-scale invasion by China.
Right.
Cutting cable and also cyber attack, so that China will prevent Taiwan to send any information out of Taiwan.
Right.
Yeah, Taiwan, not only Taiwan, but every country or region in the world relies more than 90% of the flow of international data and information on the cable, based on the undersea cable.
Right.
Satellite, is just like 1 or 2 or 3%.
Right.
So, cutting undersea cable will be very likely at the beginning of full-scale invasion, and it is very important for Taiwan and also all the country to protect sea cable.
Mr. Lai, do you think Taiwan has a plan of action in place for Beijing's interference?
I think the Beijing interference about Taiwan domestic politics and also the society is an ongoing phenomenon.
Right.
And also, if you look at the last year, the Chinese and every day the cyber attack against Taiwan is 2.4 million times. Every day. That's double than the year 2023.
Right.
So we already have experienced a kind of warlike situation by Chinese cyber attack.
Yes.
And but interestingly enough is that despite all those cyber attacks, we haven't seen any major cyber incidents within Taiwan that happened. The all the public infrastructures, the hospital, they are still open, function as well. And when we talk about the cables severage by China, I think the 11 cables, mostly they are about the Taiwan connection with offshore islands, like Taiwan main island with the Quemoy, Taiwan mainland with Matsu. But when you talk about the Taiwan's main islands cable with the external relation with outside, then we're talking about 14 north and 14 in the south. And if the China really damage all those 14 cables, the effect's not just about Taiwan. It's a whole the Indo-Pacific, the data linkage from all the way they came from Taiwan and then out of Taiwan, every one of them will be affected. Because in year 2006, we're talking about some event 20 years ago. There's a major earthquake in the southern part of Taiwan, and that damaged the undersea cable. And immediately, all the Mideast major stock market, they cannot open, precisely due to the effect. So that's another event about how, not just about semiconductor and also the transport about the sea, but also the data linkage, how Taiwan play in its position in the whole world.
Right. Speaking on the front lines, Mr. Akita, President Trump is pushing Ukraine toward a settlement. Recently, Ukraine has agreed for a 30-day ceasefire. In what message, he's obviously approaching America First policy. What message, if at all, does this send to Taiwan and America's regional allies, if at all it's the case with Taiwan?
Actually, I visited Ukraine December 2023 and interviewed Mr. Zelensky and also other military officials. And I think there are three important lessons from Ukraine to Taiwan, but also rest of other countries. One, if you want to get support from other country, first you have to fight for yourself by yourself. So for those who are making effort for the self-defense, then paradoxically, then people are more willing to help. And secondly, it is very important to have a peacetime partnership to prepare for the contingency. You cannot mobilize support from the rest of the world after you are being attacked. So that is another lesson. And thirdly, and most importantly, resiliency of the social infrastructure is one of the most important elements. Even though Russia has been bombing infrastructure like transportation and telecommunication, many infrastructures on power grid of Ukraine, due to the resiliency, Ukraine somehow managed to maintain the daily ordinary life in Kyiv and other big cities. So improving the resiliency of infrastructure to prepare the wartime is very important for Taiwan and also other countries.
Right, that's an important point. Coming back to you, Mr. Lai, the Philippines and President Marcos Jr. have embraced Taiwan, and both the Philippines and Taiwan face rising threats from China. How can the two work together to counter these threats?
I think for Taiwan, for Taiwan, definitely we appreciate that the recent years that the Philippine leaders are increasingly vocal about the support for Taiwan and also the importance of Taiwan.
Right.
And Taiwan also reciprocated about our insistence about how South China Sea should be managed. Right. So there definitely is a mutual interest between Taiwan and Philippines about the situation, whether that's in the Taiwan Strait or in South China Sea. And right now that the Taiwan Philippines, we already experience a lot of closer communication than ever before. And even some of the coordination between Taiwan and Philippine Coast Guard with the help of the third-party friends. I'm not going to name who is it. Yeah. But those things, they are increasing. And I think right now the issue is more about how to deal with the Chinese gray zone operation against both Taiwan and Philippines, and also I believe that Japan as well. So that because right now the Chinese gray zone operation pressure against the first island chain nation haven't ever been systematically challenged. And I think right now, instead of having each individual nation deal with them by themselves, it's better that we have a collective response mechanism. Right. So that China will know that you try to attack one, you'll get response from the other two. And that's very important.
Right. Following to that, China is the largest trading partner. Do you think there is going to be any stress in regards of that area?
I think for Chinese, although the Taiwan and China trade is still very significant, but you have to know that right now it's no longer like Taiwan depends on Chinese trade. Okay. First of all, about the Taiwan investment in China, year 2012 we are talking about 80% of Taiwan investment into China, but last year it's about 7.5%. And so it's a huge decrease, about like 10 times. Okay. And also in terms of the trade, right now China purchased a lot of from Taiwan, especially on the semiconductor or other the high tech. It's basically that China depends on Taiwan rather than Taiwan depends on China. So you look at in the last several years, China tried to enact the economic warfare against Taiwan, tried to place all kind of economic sanctions against Taiwan, but none of them worked. And the Chinese items about the economic sanction against Taiwan, they practically avoid everything related to semiconductor or high tech because they know it depends on Taiwan. So it is not that we do not have a leverage economically. I think it's just a reverse.
Right. New Delhi and Taiwan share good relationship. How do you see the future of the two, the island nation and New Delhi?
I think right now we do experience that there are other parts of from India, they express a great interest in Taiwan. And also Taiwan also believe that India could be the future for Taiwan for economic and technology cooperation and development. So that I think the future will be, first of all, both sides need to really think about how the kind of the relationship to go on. What kind of infrastructure we could build on. Because right now only Taiwan and New Delhi, Taipei and New Delhi, we have one representative office from India to Taiwan, and probably Taiwan has 3. Right. But just those offices alone cannot just sustain the kind of the very complex and also very enriched relationship that will be going. Another thing is that I think we really need to get rid of the political taboo. India is a power on its own, and India should not let China to determine its relation with Taiwan. Beijing cannot interfere about the New Delhi-Taipei relations, and Taipei, that's what Taiwan hope for, and we hope that New Delhi could also be just like a power on its own. Yeah. Right.
Likewise, Mr. Akita, how do you see Japan and India relationship going forth?
Japan-India relationship have many, many potentials.
Right.
First of all, strategically, both countries never want this region to be dominated by one country,
right.
China. So we want, China, we do want to have a stable relation with China, but at the same time, India and Japan and US, Australia should and can deepen its Quad cooperation to deter China from taking over the hegemony in this region.
And Japan and India have recently held military drills in East Fuji.
Yeah.
So I guess.
Yes. So that kind of a bilateral and also multilateral military exercises is also important. So again, India and Japan can cooperate each other to deter China's intention, strategic intention, to launch a very unpredictable military action.
Right.
If they think that it is not only US but also India and Japan
right.
that will cooperate each other to prevent China's action, then that will highly complicate China's military planning. And that is, I think, essence of deterrence. In that sense, Japan and India have a lot of potential.
Right. Mr. Lai, Mr. Akita, thank you very much for joining us on Ideas First Post. As we wrap up our discussion, I would like to take the opportunity to quote our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, who said India believes in taking everyone together. And I think that's the need of the hour. Conflicts need to be resolved by sitting across the table and not in the battlefield. Thank you, everyone, and have a good afternoon. Thank you so much.
Firstpost brings you the Ideas Pod at the Raisina Dialogue 2025, the largest gathering of global policymakers, thought leaders, and innovators, now on the fastest growing international news platform. Big ideas, big debates, big impact. Only at the Ideas Pod. Firstpost gives you front row access to the conversations that matter most. The Ideas Pod. Raisina Dialogue 2025 on Firstpost.
Do you think that Ukraine is at its weakest position?
This war is not about Ukraine.
Do you believe that your president was insulted? Yes or no question. Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.
Diplomacy will work?
Yes,
Do you
it
think
will.
Russia will give up the territory if there is no ceasefire? Do you propose to keep fighting?
We are ready to resist.
Do you think there will be peace?
Many countries gave us 3 days.
President Trump said you don't have any cards.
We do not have another choice.
How do you keep fighting?
You ask me once again the same question.
Because you've not
We
answered my
have-
question.
We have enough capacities to keep fighting.